How you doing, brother?
It's good to see you. I've actually interviewed you before. The last time I spoke to you was for Lamborghini.
Yeah, I think I was asking you if you're Italian.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So this is going to be a good one. Let's talk about your new film, Long Gone Heroes, which is in theaters, on digital, and on demand on September 20th. I'm
Yeah,
curious because you are a very classic sort of action star, leading man, face, looks, talent, and so on. But you also take on supporting roles and stuff like Tulsa King or Peacemaker. I'm curious, is there like how do you modulate between playing the lead and playing a supporting role? Do you ever like put any extra juice on your lines when you're in either of those roles? Are they the same craft, or do you show up to set with a different mindset?
that's a great question. And I show up to the set exact. I only know how to prepare one way. And because I'm so into fighting, if you ask a great fighter how they train for each opponent, some of them will say, well, we got these southpaw. If you ask Canelo or Manny Pacquiao how they train the same way every day. That's the way they know how to train. It's that the opponent has to kind of meet them in their world. And that's how I am. It's like when Sly called me and asked me if I wanted to do this, he said, it's a big thing, right? It's like, I'm going to be the opposing mob boss. It'll start out, it's a
Is
slow
this
burn.
the coolest call you've gotten?
Oh, bro, I was in this bedroom on a Sunday and my phone rings and I hold the phone up and it's my girlfriend was there and I went, Sly's calling. And so he's like, are you busy? I'm like, no. And so he kind of, he's so gracious I mean, he says the most wonderful things about me to me, and it's almost off-putting. It's so humbling. And he proposed this character, and he told me why he wanted me to do it, and it was profound. And I said, he goes, I'll get you the scripts. I go, Sly, I don't need the script. You just laid it out for me. It's you. Terrence Winter is writing. Terrence is one of the bangers, right?
Yeah.
I said, just tell me when to go, and I'm there. And I got a similar call from James Gunn when James took over DC. He said to me, he goes, "You're my first call." He goes, "I got this. He goes, I'm going to send you." I go, "Brother, I'm in." I said, "I love you. I think you're one of the most talented guys I've ever seen do it." I said, "Nobody knows this world better than you." I said, "You just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it." And I've been blessed with now 3 projects with these guys. Same character, but 3 projects. And so I just get ready to go to work. And sometimes it's great to be the lead, and sometimes I don't want to be the lead. I want to be the guy supporting the guy or supporting the piece and telling the story. So it's all amazing to me. It keeps getting better as I get older. And I try to tell people that all the time who think they're too old or it didn't happen yet. And I'm like, there are no rules to this game. And certainly not how old you are. It's just, I look at Pamela Anderson and Demi Moore getting blown up again. And I'm like, God bless them. Like they're telling Hollywood, it's not about who's 25 this is about something entirely different. And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
You bring up MMA, and I could see why you would want to take on different kinds of roles, because in MMA, if you only train one version, you're going to get your ass kicked by the guy who knows jujitsu and
That's right.
and boxing. So you got to keep yourself sharp in all forms of your craft. To that point, when starring in a film like this, how do you find that line between like classic movie poster action hero badassness, but also realism? I'm curious of towing the line of not making an action hero a caricature, or is it strictly just all about the tone of the film itself? Because your character in this, per se, is different than who you played in Boss Level, but they're both action heroes,
Yeah, that's great. This John and I early on, we said this was very Charles Bronson, this was very Steve McQueen, this was very, not that I'm comparing myself to them, but the guy who doesn't say a lot and does it all, right? And he is in charge of everybody. And that's the way he lives his life. That's the way he's always lived his life. The only way he knows to live his life. He's got to go get his kid, and he's got to get her out. And we structured this. We cut a lot of dialogue. The dialogue we changed it so that it would represent a person who doesn't need to say that much. And you got to see in the eyes of his men when he first goes to talk to them, they trust him, they believe in him, they love him. That's part of the backstory that we don't have to say. There it is. It's right there, right?
Show don't tell.
This movie, this movie fell apart while we were shooting it. We were a month into it. It went down because of money. It was a heartbreaking situation. John Swab and I were dying. And 4 months later, we got a call that they got them more money. And instead of Puerto Rico, we went to Colombia. And so Colombia was much more like Venezuela.
I have that wrote down. That is such a key to adding a coat of realism to this whole thing. You can feel the sweat and the grime and the forest. And, yeah.
It changed everything for us. We actually had a couple of actors change roles too. Really, the movie became a different thing. But when we got to Colombia, the movie, it became the movie. And we were in those jungles, and we were playing with it. We had to shift some scenes, and we had to cut some things, and it was a real Herculean effort to get this movie made and to make it in a way where we could sit down and ask people for 2 hours and tell a cool story and show some action. And it's amazing. I'm sitting here talking to you, man. I'm telling you, out of every movie I've done, I didn't think this was going to make it to the finish line.
Yeah.
And so John Swab, who I keep telling people, he has a great movie in Venice with James Badge Dale and Ben Foster. He's here in LA.
Oh man, I love those guys.
I know, and they're all kind of my friends. It's the same kind of actors.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Not big movie stars.
But every time you guys turn up, it's like, fuck yeah.
It's good. It's gonna work, right?
Yeah.
And he's about to be shot out of a cannon, John Swab is. You're going to hear a lot about this guy. I promise you. I've done 5 movies with him. I know him better than anybody. And it's the reason why Melissa Leo has done 4 or 5 movies with him. It's the reason why we could get a guy like Andy Garcia to come in and play the heavy. And the heavy he plays great. And look, we're doing it on a budget. We don't have $60 million and a big studio. We're out there being independent filmmakers, trying to make a movie, so it's just I'm really proud of it.
That helps. I wonder if that helps the sort of guerrilla production of it, considering it's such a guerrilla story as well.
Right. Yeah, man, we're out there in the jungle. Now we're a little gun shy. We never know when the producers are going to say you got to stop again. So we're out there fucking doing it. We're not worried about call times, about working too late, about trailers, about anything, makeup, nothing. Like, we got to get this done, and we got to get it done soon, and we got to get it done on time. And then we got to put it together. Like, what do we have? We don't even know what we have. We got to try to cobble stuff together. This guy, I think, again, the story of the movie's got to be part of the narrative of the movie, because getting it made was a Herculean effort, man.
You brought up Melissa Leo. How intimidating is it to not just get steamrolled by her? She is such a force every time I see her.
She makes me feel like a hack, because I did a movie called Ida Red with her, where she plays like a drug lord from Oklahoma who's in jail, and she's raggedy looking, and she's 100% there. And then she's playing the senator where she's vulnerable, and then in another one of Schwab's movies, I mean, she's an Oscar woman.
Yeah, incredible.
She can do it at a level that very few can do it. And, she brings a certain gravitas to the film. When she's in the movie, it's Melissa Leo. When Andy Garcia is in the movie, they've been here a long time doing it at a very high level. So it says a lot about the filmmaker. It says a lot about what we're trying to do when you could bring in talent like that.
For sure.
So
you and her go toe to toe in some heavy scenes. How was that?
Look, at this point in my career, I have gone toe to toe with, and now I'm old. So now I get young guys saying, "Oh, I'm working with you," and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." but I've gotten to work with a lot of just top-notch people, just actors that are gorgeous actors. And every time I do, I'm like, this is when it's like this is when the car, if I was a car, or you got a race car that you drive on the street, very rarely do you get to open it up, right? You don't need to, right? But every once in a while you get in with another race car and you're like, oh man,
that's really cool.
Here we go. Yeah,
that's really cool. So you talk about having tons of experiences in your career now. I want to swing over to you brought up James Gunn. You had the MCU experience, right? Now you're with James at DC. Not in a adversarial way, but are there any differences that you've noticed between these two worlds being crafted? More so James's part in it.
Working for Marvel's great. Marvel's a giant machine. The Russo brothers, I mean, I can't say enough about the Russo brothers. I just can't. They're amazing.
They're coming back now, so
yeah, they're amazing for a good reason, right? Because Marvel lost its way for a minute, right? But working with James Gunn is a whole other experience. Peter Safran and James Gunn, what they're doing at DC it's a different animal. And every actor that's, whether you're in the live action or the animated, you're all the same. You do your character for everything. So you really have ownership of it, right? And it's just, there's something special about Gunn, man. First of all, he's a brilliant. Creature Commandos is a different thing. He's a brilliant writer and he's a fucking brilliant director, and it's working at the top of the food chain. And so I just kind of show up.
I gotta be frank, I live in New York. I've never been to Comic-Con, but hearing you guys are going perked up my ears, and I was thinking, I think I gotta check this out.
We're gonna have fun.
Yeah. So let's do a tap dance, try to make some news so we can get the word out about your new film, but not get you in any trouble. How sick is the fight scene between you and John Cena gonna be? Because the one between him and Joel Kinnaman in the Suicide Squad is probably the best part of that movie. So I know you guys are.
Who says I'm fighting John Cena? Who told you that? I can't.
Hey, Frank,
I can't say. Listen, James is standing behind that door right there. If I say anything, my ass gets whooped. So, I plead the fifth, and I hold my son's picture up like this.
Fair enough. I know that's what, 1 of 4 you got, right?
Yeah.
Busy man.
So 1 of 3. Wait a minute. Wait, did you hear something? I have 4.
Well, the same person who told me that you're gonna fight Cena told me that you have a 4th kid. IMDb tells me that you are going to be in Superman. Did you get a look at Corn Sweat in a suit at all?
I won't say anything that isn't on the internet. I did see him in his suit. By the way,
how's he look? Because if he doesn't look like he could kick your ass, then what are we doing here?
He's a more handsome guy than I think even the last Superman, who's maybe the most handsome guy I've ever seen until I saw this guy. And he's a big stud, and he's a terrific actor, and I'm so happy for him. And it's I think people are just gonna, I can't say anything obviously, but I think when people see Superman, it's next level shit.
I'm going to try to let you off the hook here then. Has Rick Flag Sr. challenged you physically in any new ways? Because you've been around the block, particularly with this kind of role, but just imagining this is a James Gunn film. There's stuff that you've never done.
Brother, and I say this with zero hubris, nothing's challenging me physically. I mean, I train like a professional athlete to this day.
Yeah.
I just trained for 2 hours. I'll train another hour later.
Man, and I gotta give you your props. Your sober journey has been super inspiring to me. I followed that the whole way through from day one, and I've watched you be like, "Oh, it's been 3 weeks," and then it became 3 months, and now you're gonna be on 3 years soon. And I just got as somebody who goes back and forth with the drink, it's really cool to just see you grab that by the balls, man.
Thanks, brother. And that means a lot to me. It means more than you know. And not drinking, and I'm not an alcoholic.
Same here, but just to
But I drank a lot of wine, and I thought I was fine, and I thought it didn't really affect me. But I got to tell you something: from my training, to sleeping, to my personality, to how I approach life, everything is better. Everything is better, and I love waking up without any remnants of a night before, having drank too much wine or. Whatever it is, I don't never have to remember what I said the night before because I don't say anything stupid anymore. Well, mostly.
Well, you still might, but
yeah, I say stupid things, but now I can apologize immediately. But I got to tell you, and you know, I was reluctant to even say sober. You know, it's something I was like, no, I'm not sober. I'm not drinking.
Right,
It's
right.
it's sobriety. It's sobriety. You know what I mean? And for me, and now knowing how detrimental alcohol can really be to us, I mean, I don't even think. It's amazing to me that I'm saying this. I don't even think about drinking.
Well, dude, I've watched the whole thing, and so I just wanted to make sure that I said that, because if it inspired me, I'm sure it's touched a lot of dudes out there who follow you as well, man. All right, let's swing over to Sly. Growing up, when you did, where you did, boxing as a kid. What does Rocky and Sly mean to you, man? Like, was it an out-of-body experience to get that call? Be like, hey, Frank, I need you, dude.
Brother, I had met Sly, meeting Sly the first time in a social event. I went up to his house. I was like a +1 going up to his house to watch the Canelo fight. I mean, I was blown away. Like, Sly has had such a huge impact on my life. Huge.
I can't even
part of it, right? Part of it I knew, part of it I didn't know how much of an impact he had. You know, he had an impact on many aspects of my life. And to become friendly with him was, I thought, wow, I can't believe this, the circle of my life. Like Stallone, I can't believe it's Stallone of all people. Like, I've met them all. Like, I become very good friends with Mel Gibson. And that was a big deal for me, because I'm like, wow, Mel, right?
Yeah.
Road Warrior.
Like, you grew up on this guy, yeah.
Right. I grew up on these guys. And these are the guys I resonate towards. They're men. They're men. Like, I resonate towards masculine dudes, like, who get shit done, right?
Right.
For whatever that's worth. When he called me on a Sunday morning, I'm in this bedroom, and he says, I got an idea. And he pitches me the role. Part of me is removed myself from the phone call, and I'm going, am I dreaming? Is this a dream? Like, is Stallone calling?
That's trippy, man. That's trippy.
Bro, and then we're on set, and we're doing these big scenes, and we're peers. We're bouncing shit off each other.
Not
and now
you peers, but he's heavy.
Yeah, and me and this guy have more in common than I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, from our childhood all the way on to now. Like, it's crazy how much in common we have. And he is the most gracious, giving guy I've ever met. I think this will be another pivotal thing in my career that brings me in a direction that I would never imagine that it might go. That's how serious. That's how great it is.
I would love to see you play more bad guys, dude. I would. Do you? Do you get that stuff, or are you just like the good guy now?
No, I'm not the bad guy in this, actually, because in the show, Sly has come to Tulsa. It belongs to Kansas City. He's not supposed to be there.
Right.
So I'm not the bad guy. I'm just saying, hey, bro, you want to be here?
Yeah.
Hey, pipe.
I can't hear of a Kansas City mobster and not think of Casino.
Casino. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. So Frank, I've got to wrap soon. I love to chat to you, man. Your energy is just such a blast. Did you ever get a moment with Sly? And I'm like, I ask this all the time because it's like, I understand that you guys are fans too, right? Like, that's how you got into this in the first place. But you're also on a job, so you don't want to geek out too much. But did you ever pull him aside and be just like, dude, fucking Rocky, like, shaped my whole life? You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, like, I don't. Listen, I'm not. First of all, when I'm on set, it's my set. He's got his set, and then I got my set. I'm not acquiescing to anybody's energy. Not even that big, right?
Right.
We work together. This is a collaboration. But he knows. Like, we were doing an interview the other day, and it was me and him for CBS Morning, and they said, what did you say when you first got the call? I said, Rocky's calling me. He knows where he stands in the world with people, especially someone like me, because I tell him all the time. I tell him, I'm like, this is fucking. I mean, you're looking at me in the eyes, telling me that, and I'm just looking at you, going, it's fucking Rambo. And he loves it. I mean, he's had a huge impact on cinema. He's had a huge impact on the world. There's not I don't know if you could be any more famous than Sylvester Stallone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So to put a pin on this whole thing, what's one piece of wisdom that you've learned from him, whether it be watching his career or working with him, that you've tried to import onto your own work?
Well, this is what he has reinforced, because this is how I live my life. I'm starting to get to an age where you're like thinking about age. I'm starting to get to an age where you're thinking about death. And I watched this guy at 76 years old come to set in rehearsal, knows every line, is excited, and is always wanting to make it as good as it could possibly be. And I tell younger people this. I said, "Oh, you think as I get older, I'm slowing down?" I go, "No, that's not how it works." I said, "I am going to take this to my grave." And then I watched Sly, and I'm like, that's the guy. Like that's how he does it. He cares about every single thing he does. And in a way where you would think he was just trying to make his bones. Like Stallone is on a TV show, and it's as if it was Rocky he was making. Do you know what I mean? So to approach life,
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all the same.
Doesn't matter. You approach life with that childlike excitement and that competitiveness, healthy competitiveness. I think that's the way to live your life, man. Listen, this guy looks like he's 48 years old. So
then how old do you look? 25?
No, I look like 2000 because I haven't slept.
Frank, man, congrats on getting this film over the line. You're right. Hearing what it took makes it a lot cooler. Like I said, you're a blast. This is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, and I hope that we get to do it a third time, man.
We will, brother. We absolutely will. We got some good stuff coming.
Okay. Yeah, you do. You got a lot of stuff coming.
A lot of stuff
You're
coming.
working, man. You are.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thanks, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Man. Bye.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.